Hey everybody, welcome back, and we are looking at part 2 of our gameplay of Panther Line, the scenario Pebbles in the Stream from the Advanced Tobruk System from Critical Hit Incorporated. Doing this series, taking a look at how armor interacts and works in the Advanced Tobruk System. A couple things I wanted to go over before I got into the meat of the gameplay. The ATS system, for as long as I can remember, has always run on a kind of an impulse system rather than an I go, you go system. You activate a unit, you do something with it, it flips over to the opponent's side, they activate a unit, do something with it, instead of doing all your movement, doing all your fire, you know, what have you. It's a we go rather than I go, you go. Well, evidently about when rule set 4.0 came out, there was a little bit of change into the rule system. Now, the ATS system still uses the impulse system, but they've also switched to using the I go, you go system, and they call it, what they call it is the escalation phase. And basically, it runs as your standard, I go, you go, I have my turn, I do all my stuff with my units, you have your turn, you do all your stuff with your units, turn ins, move on to the next one. How do I explain this? Depending on how many casualties both sides have accrued, at the end of each turn, you take the amount of casualty points you've accrued, compare it to the grand total of the amount of casualties to see what the percentage is, and roll on this little chart to see if the game actually escalates into the impulse system. Now, I've got it. Where is it? I had it right here. It's on one of my tables. I know it's on here someplace. Oh, I should have probably printed my charts out bigger. Where is it? Ah, here we go. So, see if we can actually do this without disrupting the map too much. You have the escalation chart. Let's see if this can actually fit right there. So at the end of every turn, you compare the amount of casualties taken to the grand total number of casualties, and at every threshold, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, what have you, you do have a dice roll, percentile dice roll, that you roll against to see if the next turn flips into the impulse system. Now, the justification and the reason behind this is the first couple turns are usually the opening chess moves, and if the attacker has a lot of units, it can get very irritating, monotonous, slow, boring for the attacker to move one unit and the defender just passes. And then the attacker moves one unit and the defender passes. The attacker moves one unit, defender passes, yada, 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 back and forth, back and forth. So I understand the justification behind the switch to this escalation system before you totally branch into the impulse system. I'm not sure I like it. One of the things that I've always enjoyed and appreciated about ATS, it was the impulse system itself. So I'm going to give it a try. I'm going to give the escalation system a try in this scenario. I've talked to Ray. I've talked to some of the other guys. It doesn't seem that it interferes with the older modules that were made with just the regular impulse system. So we're giving it a try. We'll see how it works. I've got my little chart already made out, you know, so I can keep track of casualties and all that good stuff. So anyways, so we have the Soviets starting off turn one. I should probably also mention, I mentioned in the last video that Soviets win by getting 40 victory points by exiting units off. Not necessarily true. They also get victory points for casualties. So as long as they can accrue 40 points worth of casualties and friendly units exit off the west edge, then they win. So we're going to go ahead and start off, and like I said, as you can see here, all the Soviet units are on their fog of war side because I just wanted to be a little bit different and kind of give myself a little bit of a knuckleball to deal with. So I have no idea what these units are. I mixed them all up. So there's 4 T-34-76s, 2 T-34-85s in there somewhere. I just don't know where. Each of them has got a rider, so we're going to start off turn one. Soviets begin as the attacker, so what we're going to do is we're going to start off, we're going to bring this guy on here. Now, tanks and heavy weapons always have to be pointed towards a vertex, not an actual hex side. So basically, these are its two front hex sides, and backs, and so on and so forth. Instead of having, you know, just facing towards one hex side, you actually point it towards the vertex. So when actually you move, you have two different hexes you can go into. So road movement, if we look on our handy-dandy little movement track, road movement for a tracked vehicle is 1/2. And since all the T-34s have the same movement, they've got a, here's the handy-dandy little card. And so movement factors is 15 for cross-country and 5 for assault. So we're going to bring the first one on using assault because we know there's a Pack 40 out there. Maybe we can entice the Pack 40 to shoot at us. So that's 1/2, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4, 4.5, 5. Now, technically, let's see. He is definitely moved into line of sight of the Pack 40 over here and the infantry here, because we are, as you remember from the last video, you can see a moving vehicle at 12 hexes away if you've got line of sight. I don't think this squad kind of had real good line of sight because of these hedge walls, or these walls here. So, but the Pack 40 definitely does, and this infantry squad definitely does. So since it moved in line of sight, it loses its fog of war, and we're looking at a T-34-76. Yay! So it's not one of my 85s. So, now, I have the opportunity, since it expended a movement point in the line of sight of one of my units, I have the option for opportunity fire, but the Pack 40 is not going to be drawn into a fight so early. We already know he's already expended all of his movement points, so he's not going to be moving anymore, and he cannot see me, because as we checked with the line of sight table in the last video, infantry and heavy weapons in good cover in hazy conditions can only be spotted from 4 hexes away. So this guy is 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 5 hexes away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hexes away. And this gun is like 8 hexes away. So this tank can't see anybody yet, although these units now can see him because he moved into the line of sight. Because as we said before, line of sight for moving vehicles, you can be spotted 12 hexes away. So the Pack 40 is not going to fire. So what we're going to do is we have to mark that with a moved. And since it was an assault move, we put the movement arrow right behind the unit. So the Soviet player continues his turn. That's a little bit distressing because I was actually hoping to draw that Pack 40 out. And what do we want to do now? Okay, we're going to bring in another armor unit right behind him. And he's just going to follow along to right here. Now, I believe the Pack 40 over here and the infantry here, okay, grain is a hindrance, so I can still see through them. So there is no line of sight blockage, so technically I should have been able to spot this T-34 here. So he is moved right here, so that flips him over. And that's one of my T-34-85s. Ooh, that is almost tempting to fire at with my Pack 40. And, well, you know what? Since we're here to learn the system, let's go ahead and take a shot at him from the Pack 40. So the Pack 40 is going to go ahead and reveal itself. Now, since technically it's out of line of sight because of the sighting chart, but as soon as you fire, everybody knows where you are. So the Pack 40 is going to go ahead and fire, and everybody now knows that that Pack 40 is sitting there. Fortunately, both those vehicles are done with their movement, so since the assault move, they could have technically shot, but since they're already done with their moving, they can't shoot anymore. So now we need to go ahead and check line of sight and how many hexes. So let me see if I can find my cheap-ass line of sight measuring thing. So we're going from here to there. Ooh, I actually thought it was going to be clipping some of the grain. It doesn't clip any of the grain. So it's a straight line of shot, straight shot. And we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hexes. All right. So the PAC-40 is a B-class weapon, as can be seen on the counter. So that's the chart that you use to determine its base to hit. So we take a look at the hit probability table, and we look at B, cross-reference it with how many hexes out it is. It's 6 hexes out, so it falls under the 3 to 8. So the base to hit is an 8. Now we've got a whole bunch of modifiers that we need to look at. Okay, was there a covered arc change? No. Is it a burst on target? No. Is it assault fire? No. Is it a firing vehicle suppressed? No. Is there elite tank commander? No. Non-hold down vehicle target presents flank? No. Moving vehicle target. It is a moving vehicle, so that is a +2 modifier to the dice roll. Target size modifier. And if we take a look at the T-3485, under the size, on the right-hand side, 0, so there is no modifier for shooting at the T-3485 because it's a normal size target. Obscuring terrain cover state, no terrain cover because it's in the open. Obscuring terrain, wreck, fire for effect, nothing along the line of sight. No smoke. Running assault moving personal target. This isn't a personal target. NCO officer directed. Nope. Personal assault firing. Light anti-tank or light anti-tank rifle or aircraft cannon. Nope. All crew. Alternative crew. Nope, it's a regular crew. Armor piercing versus unit under bunker counter. Nope. ABCR or ADPS at range of 9 or more hexes. Nope. Onboard firing smoke. Nope. Overstocked. Nope. Aerosols. Nope. Volkstrom conscript personnel use of medium heavy weapons. Nope. Pre-1943 vehicle. Nope. Empty hex. Nope. So yeah, those are all the different modifiers. Now I wanted to go through those just to show you what all the different modifiers are. So basically, base to hit of 8 versus a moving target of 6. That's really the only modifiers we have. Or moving target of +2, which basically means I need a 6 or less to hit the target because... Alright, so we got a 3 plus 2 is a 5, which is less than the 8, which is what I needed, so I hit it. So fortunately, I am able to, because I hit it, put a convenient burst on target marker. Now the nice thing about the burst on target marker is that it allows you to double the rate of, not only does it make it easier for you to hit in the future, but it also doubles the rate of fire of the weapon. Unfortunately, the rate of fire on the PAC-40 is 1, so it's not going to double it. Next turn, however, if I was able to shoot at the tank again, then I would get 2 shots at it. So, we have hit the T-3485. Now we actually have to see what we do to it. So, let me take a look at my table here to make sure I got this right. Alright, so the weapon, the PAC-40 is just a 75 millimeter. So we look at our master armor penetration gun value because we don't have the penetration value like we do for on the vehicle cards. And we look for 75, there's a 75B. A or B, what's the difference there? Huh, I just noticed that. I have no idea what the difference. 75B, 75BA, 75BB. Oh boy, a whole bunch of different 75Bs. Oh, American, British, German, and okay. Okay. So, we've got a whole bunch of 75s. We got 75B, 75B American, 75B British, 75C for German and Italian. But since this is a 75B, we look, let's see, and let's scroll this down a little bit if we can. Well, I guess we can. All right. Sorry you can't see the chart completely. But we look at the 75B column, and it's at a range of 6, so that puts it under the 10 column, which means armor penetration value is 12. So, now we have to decide where exactly on the vehicle we hit. We know we're hitting from the front. All right, and looking on our hit location table, I'm not going to try to get this card underneath the camera. It's too big and messes everything up. So what we're going to look at, we have to take a look at what type of a tracked vehicle, or what type of vehicle is it. Is a turreted vehicle, so we roll a d10 for the actual location, and a 9 is the lower hull. So the Pack 40 hit it in the lower hull. So we take the armor penetration value of the Pack 40, which we already decided was, what, 12? Yes, we decided it was a 12, compared to the lower hull armor front of the T-34-85, which is an 11. So, barely possible penetration. There's a difference of 1. So, you also then, after you're done, look at the K-kill table, find out exactly what happens. And basically what you do is you take the difference in the penetration value and compare it to the armor, and what we have is a +1, and I'm going to go ahead and try to get this in there so it can be explained a little bit better. Let's see, where is it? Oh, right here. So you have, for armor piercing, APCR, APDS, heat, shape charged weapon, and then with high explosives. So the result is a +1. So you roll a d10, and if you roll a 1, the vehicle will burn. If you roll a 2 or a 3, it's a K kill. You roll a 4, it's a possible K kill, and anything above that is a no effect. So we rolled a handy dice, and we got a 7, which is no effect. So the Pack 40 put a shell into the tank, and the tank just laughed it off. Soviet steel, too much for German firepower. Alrighty. But we do have the bot target, or the burst on target marker on there. We have the movement marker. And since this guy went ahead and fired, the problem is, I'm not seeing very many ways that with a grand total of 5 movement points, I can get a vehicle from this edge to be able to get a shot on that Pack 40 now that everybody knows where it is. So, since the Pack 40 has already revealed itself, and I now know that the Pack 40 is there, I probably am going to move the rest of my armor in such a way with cross-country movement to be able to get them up into position to be able to take advantage of that. So, let me see. Let's take a look at the terrain. What do I want to do? Do I want to try to push the armor up through some of those woods? Don't know. Could roll for an immobilization check, because we always know immobilization is so much fun. A little side note, pretty much the last 10 or 15 games of ATS that I've played with vehicles in it, I have managed to bog at least one of my vehicles in each game I've done. So, alright, let's go ahead and bring this guy here. And with this being so far down, I'm not sure the camera can catch that. Hopefully it can. What I see on my screen is different than what actually shows up on the video. So we'll go 1, 2, 1. Now we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. I do have to make a bog check, and with woods, tracked vehicles make a bog check after you enter. So make a bog check. Bog checks are a 10. If I roll a 10, the vehicle bogs, so that's good. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and make another bog check after entry. Oops, well, it's a 7, so no bog there. 7, 8, 9, 10. I think we're going to go ahead and stop right there. we'll do cross-country movement. I believe we put the counter... Oh, what I forgot to say, since the Pack 40 hit this vehicle and it had infantry riding on it, that infantry have to suffer some losses. They immediately will dismount from the vehicle, so they're no longer riding it. And they take a 75... since it was a 75 shell that hit them, they roll on the infantry casualty table on the 75 column, which is the 14 infantry fire table, which is actually pretty beefy. So it's a 9, which is nothing. So the infantry got knocked off. So we'll put them underneath. There we go with that. And this vehicle moves into line of sight. Actually, probably had line of sight back here. And we're looking at T-34-76. What else do I want to do? I want to push. You know, I have a nasty tendency of just sending vehicles out in penny packs, so let's try not doing that. We're going to have another vehicle follow right behind, so I have 2 more bog checks to go through those same woods again. We've got a 7. Oops, and we got a 4. So they will end up right here. We'll put this right here to follow up movement behind that one. 2 vehicles left. Should I push them a little further north? Yeah, you know what? Let's go ahead and do that. So we'll bring him on here. Since 2 units have already moved on before that, we can call it 2 movement points. 3, 4, 5, 6. Grain costs 2 movement for track to go through. 7, 8, 9. And of course, this infantry, probably can't see it on the video, but there is an infantry way up here in some of the hedgehogs. These guys right here, they got pure line of sight straight down to them. So they're spotted. There's another T-34-76. And they've got these guys riding them. So where were we? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's hide behind that hillocks, or that hill and those woods for now. And we're going to have the other vehicle following right behind them. And there's my other T-34-85. Alrighty. Since those tanks were doing cross-country movement, they can't shoot at anybody, neither can the ones down here. You can see those guys down here can't fire because they did cross-country movement. So basically, since all movement is done, and yes, I should be putting 2 movement counters on here, but we're at the end phase. A little something about the end phase in this escalation, move to escalation, is that all fired and movement markers from both sides are removed from the board at the end of each phase. So basically, if you're an astute student of military war games and these type of systems, yes, this does mean that the defender can op fire in his phase of the turn and turn around and fire in his phase of the turn. Conversely, the attacker can move and fire during his phase and then turn around and be able to op fire in his phase. So it kind of speeds up casualties accruing. Like I said, not really sure how it's going to work. It's my first time trying it with the escalation system. So far we have 0 casualties that we've accrued, although I have a feeling that's going to change real soon. And that is basically the first half of the Soviet turn, and this video has gone on kind of long, so I'm going to go ahead and cut it here, and I will pick up with the next video for the second half of turn 1, when the Germans get to do their turn. I honestly don't think the Germans are going to be doing a lot. Actually, you know what? Because I know the Germans aren't going to be doing a lot. Let's go ahead and jump right into the end of the half of the Germans doing their turn. So at bottom of the phase, there's no routes, no rallies, nothing like that to roll for because no one was broken or anything. So we go to the German turn. All the counters are removed. And Germans get to move, fire, all that good stuff. All the German Lancers and the infantry that are hiding in the foxholes are going to remain hiding in the foxholes. I should probably point out that these guys are now spotted. This unit here, 1, 2, 3, 4, within 4 hexes. Unfortunately, since they use cross-country movement, they couldn't do anything anyways. But like I said, it's German turn. The German Pak-40 is going to go ahead and open fire on the T-34-85 because it's got the burst on target on it, which actually doubles its rate of fire. So, we did not keep that tank under a continued movement. So it is technically stopped right now. So we know that I needed an 8 from earlier. So the first shot is a 4. That's a hit. And I'm just going to save myself the time, do the second shot. And it's a 5, so both shots hit. Remember, if you got a burst on target marker on a target, the weapon has a double rate of fire. So we got 2 hits into it, so we need to know where the locations are on each one of them. And again, rolling the D10 and looking at the hit chart. 6. 6 on a turreted vehicle is the upper hull. And just to save myself the time, let's go ahead and roll for the second shot. Second shot goes into the 1, which is the turret. All right, so taking a look at the armor factors on the card, the upper hull front has got an 11. We already know that the armor penetration of the Pak-40 is a 12. It's a difference of 1. We already looked at the chart earlier. Roll to see the effect. I need a 4 or less. Nothing. And the second shell hit the turret, which is a front armor of 10, which is now a difference of +2, and that increases my odds just a little bit better. 7, still nothing. Ooh, not good. I was really hoping that Pak-40 would be able to knock out at least one of the vehicles in the first turn. So anyways, technically, these guys would get marked with fire, and at this point, the Soviets can't do op fire because op fire is only triggered with movement points, and I'm unclear on the gun duel rules because I didn't bother to read them. But I think that T-34-85 that the Pak-40 is shooting at could get into a gun duel. I think it requires a bot marker to be on the target to declare a gun duel. Both sides have to have bot markers. Anyways, oh yeah, since I had the bot marker on there, it should have been easier for me to hit, but I hit both with both shells anyways. So the Germans actually are going to be done with their turn. They don't want to move anybody. They don't want to fire anybody. Technically, the Panzerschreck here has got range to that T-34 right there, but it's only like a 2 or less to hit, so we're not going to take the shot at that long a range. And that's it. Bottom of the turn, all movement fired markers are removed. Smoke is flipped over. Roll morale, roll recovery, none of that because nobody's injured. And that, boys and girls, is turn 1. And when we come back, we'll be getting into turn 2. And that's when the German reinforcements show up. I have no idea what they are. I drew randomly for them, so I have no idea what I'm getting. It's going to be interesting. Stay tuned. Subscribe. You know you want to. You know you want to follow this exciting and riveting battle review. All right. Thanks, everybody. I'll see you around next time.